Okay, this is not the most important aspect of the current situation that we're in. I understand that, but I do believe it's worth mentioning because there's a very important media component to what is going on in our country right now, not only with the protests and the unrest and George Floyd, but also with coronavirus. This happened early with coronavirus, and it is now happening with all content related to George Floyd, protests, police brutality, Antifa, and even Trump's comments about these things. YouTube and Facebook have completely demonetized all of this content. If you talk about one of the most important issues facing our country right now, YouTube and Facebook will demonetize your videos. Now, I want to be really clear. This is not me crying censorship. This is not me saying YouTube and Facebook are doing something illegal. This is me explaining to you how they are making the wrong decision. And this is how the soft suppression using demonetization of newsworthy, independent reporting happens. Now, I can talk about the fact that our country is burning down as relations between citizens and law enforcement completely break down. I can talk about the fact that we have 3 officers still not charged who were standing there watching a 4th officer kill George Floyd. I can talk about how our president is failing to lead and egging on police violence, but we won't make any money from that. And I'll have to figure out a different way to pay staff and to do everything that we do. And believe me, I'm going to keep talking about it because you need to know what's going on, and we can't leave it simply to corporatist voices to tell you what it is that's going on. But this is very ugly. It is tragic, in fact. Yesterday, we did a ton of coverage, of course, of George Floyd, the protests, and tangentially related topics, all demonetized on both YouTube and Facebook. Check this out. This is how important reporting gets suppressed. So, okay, protests erupt and society breaks down. That was a 15-minute segment. I got a lot of compliments about it, spent all weekend researching how I wanted to approach this. Demonetized, yellow $, as you can see on YouTube, also demonetized on Facebook. Trump threatening protesters with dogs. This is a scandal. Sorry, demonetized on YouTube and Facebook. Police, victims or oppressors, hugely important story. Nearly 10 minutes about how should police departments and officers deal with what's going on? Is staying silent making one a part of the problem? This is a paramount issue. Demonetized. Trump says he will designate Antifa a terrorist group. This is a president misusing the State Department's foreign terrorist organization list to suppress American citizens' due process and First Amendment. It's a distraction from the real issues. It's a totalitarian scandal. Sorry, David. Demonetized. And then, of course, our full-hour show, the full-hour show, which contains these stories, also demonetized. What are we doing, guys? What is the point of all this? What's the point of putting in the work? And, you know, it's a really clever and great way to virtue signal, to say, we want people dealing with important issues. We don't want clickbait. We don't want low-effort content. Well, we spent all weekend researching this stuff, violent and nonviolent protest, destruction of property as a form of protest historically, the 6 or 7 different components to the protest. I mean, you know, we're talking about a ton of staff time, and it's just like, nah. Sorry, our country's burning, but if you want to monetize, what about a Kardashian lying about being a billionaire? Maybe talk about that if you want to monetize. YouTube says we want to be part of the solutions, conversations, we want to support creators. Facebook, supposedly the same thing. But if you even tangentially touch the biggest news story along with coronavirus, then no ads are going to play. You might remember this happened at the start of coronavirus as well. We were early on coronavirus. We were covering it early, despite not only the fact that a lot of people thought it was overblown then, but despite the monetization, and we kept doing it. After like a month, YouTube realized this coronavirus thing might go on for a while. We can't just demonetize everything, and they started to monetize it. This is how you nudge channels so that they'll opt to cover, you know, some BS. And more of the coverage of what's going on in this country, the social unrest, ends up being corporate media, and independent channels get pushed away from it. So we're not backing off. today's show also, I mean, the entire show is likely to be demonetized. Maybe there's one or two stories that won't be. We are not going to back off talking about it. We have a crisis. The crisis is that Trump's leadership has failed. We have major conflict when it comes to law enforcement. All of it needs to be discussed, but this is how YouTube and Facebook are dealing with it. So know that if you want, if you're able, you can support our work directly. You know, only about 0.5% of our audience has memberships, but you can grab a membership at joinpakman.com. If we can get from 0.5% to 1% of our audience supporting us, it's game over, right? I mean, none of this stuff matters. None of the demonetization matters. So consider grabbing a membership at joinpakman.com. You can get a 66% discount with the code This Is 2020. Don't feel obligated to use the discount. Don't feel obligated to get a membership at all. We're going to continue covering this stuff because it matters. And it is once again tragic that this is how some of the major platforms where we get, you know, millions and tens of millions of views a month between YouTube and Facebook, that this is the approach that they are taking. It's sick. We can fight it. And, you know, even if you don't support me, support some other show. If you think some other show is doing better coverage of this, by all means, support them. But we have to make sure that independent voices don't get sort of softly nudged away from talking about this stuff, because then it leaves just the corporate media outlets talking about it. We can't allow that to happen.